pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we called a special meeting today because we need to decide what we're doing with the IMPA maintenance contract. We have all voiced displeasure to IMPA in many different ways. Three of those ways would be by mail. We have had phone conversations with them, and we have met personally with them in Indianapolis, and we've had personal contact with them here at the town council meetings. IMPA, we sent a letter to in March 24th of this year in reference to the meters. They wanted to charge $160 for. We dropped that rate down at an agreement of $50 and started the 90-day notice of intent to terminate the maintenance agreement if they didn't accept. They didn't accept and sent us a letter back and stated that they would settle the contract, but they wanted $53,147 and in 6 monthly installments of $8,858 beginning of April. We explained to IMPA when they were here on several occasions. The last time they were here standing before us, we only had a little over $4,000 in our bank account in the electric utility. Since then, though, we have did bonds on a 10-year bond, but I don't think it would be responsible or wise to take money that we borrowed on a 10-year slot and give it away for a maintenance contract. That's not why we did that. The IMPA has also overbilled us for meters. Last year they billed for 571 meters. We had 531. When I personally contacted IMPA myself and talked to them, I asked for documentation from them in reference to those meters, and their documentation was telling us that that was a phone call to get that's how they made their business. You don't take a phone call and say, okay, hi, I'm going to tell you I've got 450 meters and just bill from there. You'd think that they would know how many meters and stuff. They would know having a maintenance contract with the town. That overbilling was about $12,000 to their benefit, not ours. Right now, we've made the responsible decisions, and we've hired a person for the water utility, had a water license, but we're also lucky enough that he is a journeyman lineman also. That takes care of our electrical problem in town. We can't justify having an IMPA contract that we call IMPA and tell them what our electrical problem is, and we pay our guys time and a half to look at a down line, waiting 5 to 6 hours for them to get here to figure out how they want to fix it. We've got our own equipment, we've got a lineman. There's no reason for us to have any kind of contract with any other people out here. As far as I'm concerned, IMPA's did shoddy work in town. I do not like the fact, they are a power sale people. We buy our power from them. But as far as work done in town, they had subcontractors that they hired to come in here that did absolutely shoddy work of tree trimming. They left stuff all over the place, ruddy yards. The town hall was blasted with calls. We talked to them time and time again on the phone. We talked to them personally here in this building, and we're at a year and a half later, and there hasn't been one thing done. The homeowners and stuff, they screwed these yards up, went out and took care of their yards. You don't hire somebody without supervising, do that kind of thing. They screwed us over big time there. We don't We don't need IMPA. When we call them, it takes hours and hours and hours to get something done. We've had 2 power outages in the last 30 days, and both times Jason had them fixed within 15 to 30 minutes. We don't need them. We can't afford them. Dwayne printed up the cost of what we did with IMPA, and this is with the power sales too. You know, I consider us a good customer. In 2019, we spent $552,465.38 with IMPA. That's a chunk of change. This year, through March, we've spent $72,940.43. The town attorney gave us her thoughts. We've all read through that. There's numerous things there. I've got my opinion, but I want to hear everybody else's. Maybe you'll change mine. So bounce around the table. Who wants to go first?
Well, basically, I know we can't afford it. We cannot afford $8,000 a month. I mean, that's a sure thing. Where are you going to get it from? We're already operating on a shoestring. So I'm saying we can't accept that.
What's your opinion on how to move into ending the contract though?
Well, let's see. I would say J5B.
That we could argue that the funds are not appropriate, otherwise available to support the continuance of the contract, which Brian told them point blank. We can show that.
We can actually prove that. If you guys remember, we did that thing, and we went through year to year. $8,000, I don't have the paperwork back in front of me again, but it was like $8,600 a month that we paid them to do absolutely nothing. What are we paying them for? What have they done every month this year? Right, I mean, I get it. We did it. We paid them $72,940.43, and what did we actually get out of? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's this year.
That's this year.
Right, but the power supply for the town was $37,000 of that. So you're talking about $35,311.49 as of 4/30 that we've paid them.
I've got nothing.
And they haven't even been in our town. They haven't come to our town.
They haven't been called.
So we're paying money that we
don't have.
We're just wasting. Right. And unfortunately, even when we didn't have a lineman, the money that we were spending a month was well exceeding what we were even bringing in. So that alone tells us we can't afford the contract. Number two, we've talked to them several times. They don't have the paperwork. They would be silly to go into litigation. I think, my personal opinion, because they don't have documentation that we do in regards to, we've come to them several times and they've told us, we're billing you for this many meters, but that was a phone conversation, that wasn't anything in writing.
I mean, how many businesses do that without having a paper trail? I don't believe that.
You can unplug that.
My recommendation is the same, is to go with 5B, that we don't have the funds, and I think we can wholeheartedly prove that we don't have the funds to sustain them with nothing. They haven't done anything. I'd like to actually see what their calls for service were for this year, and then justify us paying $35,000 when we have absolutely nothing. They haven't even set foot in this town.
Yeah, there's been a couple of calls, and Jason has documented those, contacted them and told them it was fixed. So what are we doing? We got a lineman and we're paying somebody to say, hey, we got it fixed. Here's what happened and we got it fixed. Here's $8,000. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, something else we can look at too. We need to look at. I don't know. I kind of agree with everybody here too. But what alternative? What's going to happen when we get to where, let's say that they don't go nowhere? I mean, we're going to end up paying these guys some more money, but they're going to be wanting some more money here pretty soon. If we find out we can't get rid of them, then we're stuck with them, and here they're going to be wanting another $50,000. I mean, so we have to think about that too. I mean,
I think we have to think in the realm of, if it goes to litigation, we're going to be paying an attorney $150 an hour to represent us. So what's it going to cost? Good question.
And what's it going to cost if we lost? Then they're going to turn around. They're going to want their next payment again of $53,000.
What they gonna do? Take us to court, and we don't have the money. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip if you don't have it.
How much money are we willing that we don't have to spend on attorney fees? That's another thing. I mean, that's, it's damn if you do and damn if you don't.
Well, certainly, I don't think it's gonna be $8,000.
Well, what does, I mean, another question I guess would be for Amber would be, when we file this, does services stop, or do we gonna have to continue to pay this since we're disputing it? Is that gonna keep on rolling until we're done? Because then it does actually become a factor, because it's gonna be cheaper to pay the $56,000 or whatever.
Amber states that when we wrote this first letter, our 90 days started from there. So at the end of that 90 days, we're not satisfied with their contract. They haven't satisfied us. Our contract is done, but we have to defend done. Why we're not going to do it anymore? So they could file and take us to court, and then we'll be inside a courtroom. That's like she's saying here. They're going to say this. They're going to say that. But
well, according to this, we got to pay them almost $9,000 in April. Where are we going to get it from?
They wanted almost $9,000 a month for 6 months, starting in April. They want their $53,000.
Well, I guess that's where we need to figure out if we actually do with the buyout, or if it's, I mean, $150 an hour, and I know that's a chunk of change, but so is $53,137. Once this 90 days is done, if we don't have to pay them because our contract is done, and we have to prove to them, or we have to prove them in a court of law in regards to not being able to afford this, I think we're well above that threshold. I mean, I think we're well above
4,000, yeah.
But as far as the other thing, that is definitely something to weigh. But $53,157, man, you look at and divide that in by 150. That's a lot of hours, man. I don't think it's going to take it that many hours to come up with.
Well, keep in regard, we haven't paid them anything this year. Okay, we haven't paid them a dime. So we've got 4 quarters in a year. We're at our first quarter. In the end, right now, we owe them $25,000. No matter what.
Well, I think we're going to end up having to pay that on top of this $53,000 if we went with the opt-out. So it'd be
according to their contract, the $53,000 would end everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we'd agreed to pay for it ever since April, or before April, was it? Beginning in April.
Just a thing, it's 354 hours that you would have to put in.
That's a long court.
Right, I mean, she's not going to be anywhere, no attorney's going to be anywhere near that to litigate this.
I've been doing business for a long time, just out there, and I can realize what people want and what they need to do, and what's sometimes the best thing to get out of things. And I don't know. To me, I would actually, if we made them an offer, then they're going to know that we give a little. That's the problem too. But if we're going to sit here and they'll end up owing 75 or 80 grand by the time we get done with this, I mean, we're not being smart about that either. I mean, we need to figure out something quick on it too, because they're going to be wanting something.
My thought was, and that's why I asked you all to go first and stuff, because my thought was, knowing that we got the first quarter that we're going to owe them for, and they said we could settle out for $53,147. They know our finances, and I was thinking that if the attorney wrote a letter saying, the town's finances were this, we can get with Dwayne and stuff and pull those records where it showed the $4,000, you know. Well, I mean, we showed Amber that night, there's $4,000 inside the electric utility. And say, did this, we've been overcharged with the meters. They did shoddy work with the tree trimming. You know, the town has suffered because of the lack of professionalism through their network. We're still happy to be customers of theirs for their purchase power agreement, but the town of Kingsford Heights would nullify this contract for $30,000. That's what I was going to say.
There's another thing that's involved in this, though, is we've got almost $40,000 sitting in a utility fund that is for equipment. So where does that money go?
Well, that money can't be touched, that's what I would say, that's
Well,
already.
It's in
it's
IMPA's
in
thing.
theirs. It's in their
It's
account.
in
It's
their
not in our
account. Oh,
account.
it's in their account.
It's in their account. It's not in our account. They're holding it was
$42,755. Kingsford Heights Materials Fund balance of.
Yeah. So where does that money go? Where's that money
Should go out of
go?
this 53.
Well, this is to date. ISE has approximately $95,902 costs not collected. This would be netted against the Kingsford Heights Material Fund balance. That's where they come up with the $53,000. So they're trying to say that we're going to pay them the $95,902. So
So they're gonna take
So
the
they're going to
40.
take the
Okay, so
47
they're-
plus that.
So have we been paying the power that we're getting in to supply to the customers, or are we haven't even paid for that?
That's two separate things.
That's
Well, it's
separate.
two
Two
separate-
separate things.
We're paying him.
We're paying for the power supply, right?
Yeah, just not the
We're not
maintenance.
paying for, we're
The
not
maintenance
paying,
agreement.
right,
Just two different.
right, no, I know, that's why I wanted to make sure though, because you guys said we weren't paying input. I wanted to make sure.
We have to pay for our electric.
Just
Well,
the
that's
maintenance
right, that's
agreement.
what I was getting ready to say, for the maintenance agreement, we have not paid anything this year, the $8,600, $8,600 a month.
So after reading this again, and with what you were saying on the on the materials fund balance, they're saying we're going to pay them $95,000 in the end. I don't agree with that. We got a $4,000 thing. I would be. My thing would be towards a 5B also at that point. We can show that we're broke, show we don't need them, show we're doing this, that, and show we suffered on
Is
that.
our 9 months up, or our 9 months, what was it?
90 days.
90
We
days
started this
upgrade.
in February, I believe it was February, one of our February meetings is where
It'll be
the
done
letter
in
was
May.
sent.
March 24th. So you got April, May, June.
Was it March 24th?
March 24th is
I
the.
thought it was back in February that we actually sent the letter to them. That's what's on here. However, I just wanted to reflect that I stepped down March 2nd. And this has got my signature on it. This should be dated February.
Okay.
If you remember correctly, I did step down the first meeting in March, and you took over.
There is an F up top there. Did you see it?
I think the meeting
So that would make
in
March,
February
April. So this month.
this month. I mean, I'm just looking at my calendar too.
Dates are on that.
February.
That was one of our special meetings that we did. February 24th.
Yeah, they just had the wrong month on it.
Yeah, it was February 24th.
And according to their thing, they would, with that $57,000, that they would have ended our contract March 31st. It would have been done a month ago. So we've
With
set on
them
this
keeping
because.
that was with them keeping our, and see,
Yes.
I'm not for that, because that's.
Well, no,
they
now
have
we're
not-
$97,000.
Right, I was getting ready to say, they haven't even come close to using 42,000. All the invoices that I they're barely touching $5,000 with all the invoices that they've had, since the inception of their mutual aid or their dedicated services contract. it's been less than $5,000. That's, I mean, and that's actually, I went through each individual month, each individual call for service for them each month and had it broke down, if you guys remember correctly, at one of the meetings. So we looked back at the minutes to actually
At that
get
price,
that.
we're gonna have to stand tall, what we have to do then, wouldn't you reckon?
Are you a 5B then too?
I think we're,
Are you a 5B then?
I'm a 5B too.
5B.
What about you? 5B?
I mean, we've expressed it to them. We've expressed, we were all there together and they knew that we were broke.
They knew we wanted out too.
They knew we wanted out.
Yeah.
Well, the guys sit right here and say they were
And
not.
that's another thing in our
They
favor.
were not-
Exactly, I forgot
They
about
were
it. Number 8.
not for trimming it all. They were in business for that. They were in for the purchase
The
house.
guy stood right here and he says, "No, we like it when people better themselves. We're in here for
He was
purchase
a-
power
he
agreement,
was
not
a
maintenance
high-up.
agreement."
He's one of the top
And they were
dogs.
mad when they found out that he said that.
Yeah, but then when we got to the meeting, they said he had no right to even say that.
Unfortunately, he's one of the higher ups. He's one of the top dogs there.
He actually felt that he had the right to do it because he sure said it.
Mm.
And that's on record. So
Yeah.
I think we ought to stand tall and really, because technically we could actually, if we actually win, we could go after the attorney's fees as well on top of it.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
You know, put that to a motion.
it is a double-edged sword. I make a motion, we, our option, we go with option 5B, and also with an added thing of make sure that it's in there if we win this, that attorney's fees are included as part of our settlement with getting rid of this IMPA contract.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded that we have our attorney, the attorney will send this letter, in reference to 5B. 5B states that the town could argue that funds are not appropriate or otherwise available to support the continuance of the contract. For the one person in attendance tonight, that's because our bank balance at that time had $4,000 in it, and they wanted $108,000. Kind of hard to pay. So, with the stipulation that if we win, that the attorney fees are included in the settlement. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.